I think as focused as we are on healing from our past traumas, healing from whatever circumstances that we have been in, I think we have to realize that, all of it is us. In a lot of ways, all we do is heal from ourselves. And it's not necessarily saying that no one had a say in how we feel and no one impacted us, but to say that, you have to own your feelings. You do, otherwise they're owned by others. You have to accept the way you feel about certain things and accept the way that certain things impact you. I feel like in that it shows you a little bit about yourself and a little bit about your resilience to certain situations. I was talking about it in another video, but I was talking about how anger in a way is just showing you that you think you deserve more. Showing you that you want more out of life, you want more out of a certain situation. But I feel like sometimes that's governed by our expectation. And in a lot of ways, expectation restricts us of sort of experiencing life for what it is. And instead we live in a world of what it's not. Expectation is sort of the root of a lot of despair, because we expect to be a certain way, or we expect to get a certain something and we don't get it, and we take that personally because I don't know. I feel like we're taught to sort of vest a lot of our value in things that aren't us, and it's simply due to the way that the world's sort of set up in terms of material gain and greed in a sense. But I feel like once you take a step back from that and absolve from it, you realize that in a lot of ways we're pushed to not like ourselves. We're pushed to not accept the way we are, and we're pushed to sort of act in accordance to something that is not us. And that's not to say that everyone acts like that or everyone is some sort of bot or something, but to say that a lot of our discomfort with life is just discomfort with self. It's because we're not comfortable with the way that we are in the place that we are, that we feel that feeling. And healing from yourself is not necessarily saying that you're overtly hurting yourself, but covertly you are. You know, it's the way we feel about ourselves and the way we think about ourselves that truly governs the way that we are. And if we have some sort of negative image in our mind, or we allow ourselves to have subtle negative thoughts about ourselves, they build upon themselves. I feel like a lot of people are just the result of the mass of their thoughts. You are what you think about most. And if you're constantly thinking about things having to do with yourself that are negative, then your expression will tend towards negativity. Healing from yourself is just accepting the way that you are, but also realizing that you're subject to change. And that change can only happen once you accept that you've been hurt. Accept the pain that you've sort of given to yourself or allowed yourself to experience by putting yourself in certain situations, allowing yourself to be attached to certain ideas, certain things. And it's not a bad thing at all to let go. To truly develop as a person and emerge as not even emerge, but become aware of yourself, you have to make sure that it shines through. Validate your own feelings, validate your opinions, but also, take that with a grain of salt. I realize, like, you can say stuff like that, but when it comes to people's morality and understanding of their feelings, the understanding of how they interact with the world, they have to realize they have to sort of let down their ego in a way. I think it's really important to not be ego involved when it comes to your aspirations and yourself. Once we become ego involved, it starts to become a matter of caring about the expression more than how you are inside. And when you do that, you always end up in the same spot, because no matter how you express yourself, if the thing you're expressing is something that you don't like, you're not going to like how it's expressed at all. You have to make sure your foundations are sort of set in stone before you, not necessarily before, but before it comes out in a way that you feel is befitting of you. At least that's how it worked in my experience. I felt like a lot of time was spent sort of fighting the way I express myself, or expressing myself in a certain way that I knew wasn't befitting of myself, just because it's comfort for the situation and comfort for what you think life to be. And I've only just recently realized that once you let that go of sort of your past self, you let yourself just grow into who you are, and truly have a observant eye over yourself. Truly, like, sit down with yourself and ask yourself whether certain situations you conducted yourself correctly or not. This, that, and the other. Learn your lessons and keep moving forward with who you are. Realize your areas of change. Look at the things that are trying to seek out change, and you change them. Because self-love has no condition. It's not, you don't have to do this stuff for any reason. You don't have to take care of yourself for any reason. You don't need an excuse to do certain stuff like that. You know, yourself is all you have. And it's truly all you have. You know, we can have all these possessions, all these things, all this, that, and that's not with us forever. The only thing that's always with us is ourselves. And that's why you need to have a friend there. You need to be there for yourself and treat yourself like a friend. Otherwise, you're just bringing along a hater. And why would you do that to yourself? I feel like the world's already filled with so much negativity that we sort of internalize subconsciously, that if we're not overtly positive to ourselves, then nothing else will be. If you don't believe in you, why should anyone else? And that's not to say that your dreams aren't. It's to say that just as much faith as you put in anything else, and just as much faith as you put in the idea that you're not worth something, you can't do something, you can put into your can. You can put into instantiating that you actually can achieve something. And I don't think people realize that just as much as just as easy as it is to be negative, it's as easy to be positive. And it may seem difficult, but I think that's just because of the way we've allowed our minds to be set up. And you really need to take the time and just sort of reprogram that. And one method that I used to sort of do that, because, negative thoughts are going to happen no matter what. I'm not saying you can get rid of them 100%, but I'm saying that you can dampen their effects to a negligent amount. Once you realize that you're not the thought, then you realize that the person who has control is truly you. You really need to sit down with yourself and meditate. Make sure, sort of create a dichotomy between yourself and your thoughts. Not to say that those two things are entirely separate, because, your thoughts are your thoughts. But to say that you're the thing that's watching them. You are not your thoughts, but they are a product of your expression. They're a product of who you are inside, and you have to realize that they're reflective of that at times. Not always, but at times. And you have to be the one to determine whether or not those things are inherent to your character or not. And a lot of times I just say don't. Why should you do that to yourself? Why would you attribute certain negative thoughts or certain ideas to yourself that you don't necessarily agree to? And I feel like a lot of people have discomfort with themselves and their expression and their thoughts and this, that, and other, because they know they're not that way. Their discomfort is because they're not allowing themselves to truly be the life that they are. They're allowing themselves to be died down and diluted by their own mind's nonsense and a bias of the world. And that's why I feel like it's important to heal from yourself. Because at the end of the day, you do it to yourself, like subconsciously or consciously. Sometimes it's hard to stand on who you are, and that's a very real thing. Standing on who you are is a very, in my experience, it was a hard thing. It's always uncomfortable to sort of put yourself out there in that manner. But once you do it, once you truly put yourself out there, then that's when I realized that everything is for you to gain. Because once life is coming from you, it doesn't feel like anything's coming at you anymore. It feels like stuff you encounter, stuff you come across. And it becomes, once again, a choice rather than something that's being forced upon you. And I don't feel like you should force anything. The art of not forcing is like a really grand philosophical idea in life in general. But it's sort of about going with the flow. And what I've realized, going with the flow isn't about not caring. You can care all you want. It's about not being attached. It's about not having attachment to expectation, attachment to compensation, but allowing things to be and allowing yourself to do things simply out of your desire to do them. Simply because you want to. And do I deserve this? Should I do this? Should I do that? I mean, have a little self-faith, but also have a little morality. I wouldn't do anything that I think would overtly harm anybody else. That's just the way I roll. I try to conduct myself in a good way so I don't have to worry about that. And once you get up to a point where you're gonna do what's best for you and what's best for your mind and your longevity and your mental health overall, then you can sort of put yourself on autopilot in a way. Allow yourself to be truly present in the moment, because I feel like presence happens when you have faith in self. A faith in yourself that whatever you encounter, whatever you're going to go through, your mind's going to kick in, you're going to kick in, and you're going to be able to handle your situation. It's not about not addressing your responsibilities or saying that life's not stressful, because, there's things to stress over, sure. But why should I stress over them? I have responsibilities, but at the end of the day, they're just actions that I need to conduct. They're actions that I need to do. And I do them, and then they're gone. That's all there is to it. We need to start looking at things in more of a face value, including ourselves. You're not the result of your thoughts, you. You have to really just take into account that you're someone that exists, someone that's alive, and you take up space, and you might as well use it. And that's a beautiful thing. Your potential. The realization that no matter what situation you've been in, you can always get up. There's always something better. There's always more life to be lived, no matter what. Even the possibility of good is a good thing. And sometimes we just have to be content and happy with the fact that, there's stuff we don't know. Sometimes I think about tomorrow and I'm happy. I don't know what's yet to happen, but I know no matter what happens, I'm going to find a way to be happy in that. It's not nature that's peaceful. It's us that's peaceful in nature. You have to realize that you can bring that type of thing anywhere. And that's what I think nature teaches you, to sort of be at peace with your situations and your environment. Realize that you don't have to conflict with everything, and not everything has to conflict with you. It's about the way that you interpret things and the way you perceive things that makes them so personal. It's the way we attach value to certain words, ideas, actions, attention, validation, because we fail to give it to ourselves. And I feel like that's utterly what's important when it comes to us. Healing from yourself is just taking care of yourself. Healing from your wounds is taking care of the wounds. That's what's important. So healing from yourself, I feel like it's something we need to do. Something that's sort of essential to sort of be people nowadays. Because, mental health is a big trending topic. It's a big thing nowadays. And I feel like it's great that people are on top of it. But when it comes to mental health, I don't like to think of it as something that's super general. Mental health in regards to ourselves and who we are is everything. It's everything we do. It's not just sometimes I'm sad and I sit here and I do this. It's everything you do, because it's reflected in everything you do. It's reflected in how you take care of yourself, how you take care of your responsibilities, how you do this, that, and the other. So you have to make sure your foundations are right. So when you do express it, when you do get to that point of expression, it is everything you want. And that's what's important. And I really appreciate all of y'all watching. If you made it this far in the video, thank you so much. Not a day goes by where I'm not appreciative of everything I've received from you all. I definitely am going to stream soon, very soon. I just needed a proper day off. I've been sort of doing my videos ahead of time, so I've been sort of ahead of the curve. But today, while I'm recording this, is July 4th. So, hey, extra Juneteenth. So thank you all for watching so much. I hope you all are taking care of yourself, being good to yourself, and trying to heal from yourself. Don't treat yourself like some sort of overt negative thing, though. Like, you can't hate yourself into being better. You have to love yourself into being better. I think a lot of people don't realize that. So keep being good, keep being great. Make sure you guys are taking care of yourself. I got a lot of projects on the way. I might let y'all hear a song or something. I could. Potentially. I'm working with one of my friends on we're doing something called the Selly Collective. I don't know if I mentioned it in the video yet, but yeah, we have a lot of good stuff on the way. Some videos, some nice little ideas just to represent, group human consciousness and group human creativity. Because I feel like everybody has that within them, and they just need a certain opportunity in order to share it, or a certain platform for their expression. So find out what that is for you, whatever makes you feel most like yourself, and commit to doing that. Not necessarily for gain, not necessarily for profit, but for the purpose of understanding yourself better. So keep being good. Thank y'all, and